Thanks to Insta360 for sponsoring this video. There are a ton of different types of action cameras. We've probably all used them, used a 360 one, or maybe you've got one on your helmet, but there's been a catch. If you wanted a 360 action camera, you just bought a camera that all it did was 360 action. You bought a fixed lens one, all it did was that. But that was all that camera was ever going to be until now. This is the Insta360 ONE R. Now, this takes advantage of one of the cool promises, I think, of really the past couple years, and that's modularity. We've seen modularity promised, but never come to fruition in phones, for example. But this is an actual product that you can buy that uses a totally modular design. And by that, I mean modular battery, modular camera, all that kind of stuff can be easily swapped out. So 360 mod, you can add that on. You want a 5.3K Leica mod, you can add that on. You want a 4K mod, you can add that too. You can flip the screen around to suit your needs, bigger battery, while all still retaining 5 meters of waterproofing just as is. Everything to expect from an action camera is here, but with flexibility that we've never seen in this space. It's usually reserved for things like RED cameras, but now you've got it in something that can fit in the palm of your hands. So the name of the company is Insta360. You figure 360 is in their DNA, and it is. So the ONE R is a follow-up to the ONE X. That was a pretty widely popular camera, and they sort of took all of that knowledge and improved on it. But where I think the 360 option is really cool with the dual lens 360 mod is that you have infinite shots that you can get. So we were filming some car videos, for example, and I could just hold this thing out the window, and I could always, after the fact, pick the perfect shot. And that's something that's really helpful to have as a tool for a creator. I don't have to worry about framing. I really just hold this thing out. I know that after the fact, I can go back and find that perfect shot. Yeah, you can do 360 if you want to upload 360 videos, but the flexibility of the dual lens 360 mod is really awesome. When 360 came out, the quality was really bad. It was a low res image. I got kind of stretched spherically and nothing looked good at all with it, but that's been improved on. So now you've got a really high quality sensor playing a high quality image. So whether or not you decide to use the full sphere of image or just sort of pick a particular frame and roll with that, anything you're gonna pick from this is going to look good. It also has Insta360's flow state stabilization, which is really good. I mean, it almost looks for a lot of things like you've got a gimbal. And another cool trick that the dual lens 360 mod has is actually it'll make a selfie stick kind of invisible if you're holding it out. So it looks like you have a drone following you. It's really cool to actually see in practice. Just sort of another really awesome thing that you get with the camera. So there's a lot of cool things I think about shooting in 360, but as a creator, one of the most awesome things that I get is the flexibility. So if I go out on a shoot and I have a shot framed out, that's the only shot I'm gonna get. Now I can grade it and make it look as awesome as that shot can be, but if I realize later that I missed something, there was an angle that I wanted to get, I can't go back and sort of make that footage show up. With 360, you sort of have the option to do that. You can go back and pick something from a different angle. You could change shots. You have more motion options. You just have more flexibility with the data that you just don't have on a regular sort of fixed lens setup. And the Insta360 gives you, I think, the most control over the end image. So you can adjust each video setting totally manually if you want to get into the granular settings. You can even shoot up to 100 frames per second in 360. So that's something that you normally can't do with 360 cameras, but here you can. So as versatile as 360 is, there are times though when you want a higher quality sensor for those fixed image shots, and you've got that option here. So the 4K wide angle sensor is cool for a lot of things. I think vlogging setup is probably the first one that is really useful. So because it's modular, you can flip the display around and actually see yourself. Also, the mics that are built into this thing are actually pretty high quality, and they have noise reduction technology. But you can also use like an external mic or even wireless record through your AirPods using that mic, which is really awesome. That's flexibility that you really don't get with any other action camera. You could scale down the frames per second too. If you don't want 60, you can go to 30 or 24. You've got a lot of versatility with what it can do. And because it's wide angle, you're getting a lot of things in your shot. But perhaps one of the coolest things is the flow state stabilization. Now, I know a lot of people use action cameras or portable cameras with gimbals, sort of get that sort of really stable shot as maybe you move around. This flow state stabilization in the camera looks like gimbal level quality. So here's me just walking around, moving it around, and it looks like it is on a gimbal. So here's it on, and here's it turned off, and you can see the difference. And this all happens on the camera. The 4K wide angle is nice, but there are times when you want to go up even more, and you've got a 1-inch Leica mod. It's using a 1-inch sensor to sort of step up the quality to 5.3K. And this looks absolutely amazing. So use cases, if you want to shoot in low light, it's a bigger sensor. And the fact that you're getting a 1-inch sensor on an action cam is crazy. And this also has all the features of the 4K ultra wide, like the flow state stabilization. You can still flip the display around either way, but it becomes a lot more versatile. And for those times when you want the extra high quality images, you have that option. That's something that's really unparalleled in the action camera space. Getting all the footage is one thing. I think another area where Insta360 really excels is in the app. Being able to manipulate that footage after the fact to make sure you got the shot or to frame up that shot that you want. It's really cool, and it also just gives you a peace of mind to know that no matter what, you're always gonna be able to get the shot that you need. The fact you can do it all from your phone is extra awesome. So you've got the Insta360 ONE R app that can sort of do the heavy lifting for you. It'll work on your phone, so iOS or Android. There's a desktop plugin even for Premiere Pro, and there's even an app for your Apple Watch. So whatever platform you're on, you can use. And this is where a lot of the heavy lifting comes into play. The app does a lot of cool things, but I think probably the neatest and most useful thing that's in there is a bit of tech called Shot Lab. So it takes all the potential trouble you have with kind of manually framing your shots and just straight up does it for you. There's a list of complex shots that are completely automated for you and give you some really awesome end results. Auto time shift, automatically time shift your clips and give you kind of a really cool time-lapse effect. There's a dolly zoom that can give you the vertigo effect, which is super fun. And stop motion makes it look like you're floating or moonwalking along a path. And perhaps coolest, bullet time mix. You can get kind of a selfie stick attachment that's got a right angle on it. You can spin the thing around and it creates kind of that Matrix style bullet time effect, which is really fun. And it's all happening right on the app. Unless you're working with the Wachowskis, things like bullet time are only available with 360 cameras. ShotLab can even teach you how to shoot the footage yourself if you want to get the best results. So you can look like you've got a crew without needing to have a crew. There's a lot of really powerful features built inside of the app that kind of makes the camera even better. So the app's got some pretty cool AI things in it as well. It's got a feature called Deep Track, which has been immensely useful. So you're out in the field shooting a bunch of stuff, you can just select and it'll pull all of those shots out and do all the tracking for you. So you don't have to sort of manually move it around, which you can do if you want, but I'll let AI do it for you. Being able to sort of actually see that on your phone and move around and make sure you got those shots that you want is incredibly helpful. And previously with 360 cameras, you had to just hope that you got what you needed and then you took it home. And now you can actually see it when you're out in the field to actually make sure that what you've got is exactly what you need. The whole action camera genre got really good really fast and then kind of just stagnated and went flat. We haven't seen sort of that next step in innovation really until the Insta360 ONE R. So if you're interested in picking up the Insta360 ONE R, you can get the twin edition. So that's a 360 and 4K for $479, which is a really good deal considering you're essentially getting two cameras in one. Also, we'll link to it down below. Insta360 is going to give you a free invisible selfie stick with your purchase. And if you want to compare this to sort of the big behemoth GoPro, to get even close to this functionality, so to get the 360 and the 4K, you got to buy two separate cameras. And even then you can't flip the display around, but that's going to run you about $900. So for, essentially half the price, you're getting a camera system that's infinitely more versatile. And for a camera, an action camera, it's supposed to give you ultimate versatility and portability. It's awesome to have a camera setup and sort of tools that sort of live up to that promise. Whatever I want to do, however I want to shoot, there's a mod that's going to work for me. And I love that the camera's working for me instead of me changing what I have to do to work for the camera.